TJ, Cole, you are both now television executives. I'm calling this segment F the NCAA because this ruling in regards to Dion and Fran, I think, is ridiculous. You two now have to pick 3 spring games that would draw the greatest eyeballs this month. So if you were going to put together 2 teams, not in the same conference, I think that kind of goes without saying based on what we saw with Syracuse and Colorado, which 2 teams would you pit against each other? You have to pick 3 games, and this is what your network is going to air. So, TJ, it's your channel. Out of respect, I'm going to make Cole go first.
Yes! Yes, because he can't take it! Because he can't take it! I'm going to do it right now because he already mentioned it. I want Gus Malzahn to take on his former team. 2 underwhelming teams in 2024 that was easily Florida State and Auburn. 2 teams that I feel like both coaches have got to prove that they actually have the right foundation in place. I want, whether it be at Doak Campbell or whether it be at Jordan-Hare Stadium, Jackson Arnold versus Thomas Castellanos, proving that these 2 can be actual viable quarterbacks in the SEC and the ACC while setting a foundation and tone for the upcoming season. Gus Malzahn taking on Auburn. Give me Florida State going up against Auburn. That is an easily must-see game. It's in the Southeastern region. You know eyeballs will be on 2 underwhelming teams with 2 coaches that might be overrated.
That's amazing. All
yes! Right. I knew I could take it.
Oh, TJ, what do you think?
All right, well, I'm taking the one that we're talking about. I don't know if this is stealing or not, but like the one that will set the records is Deion Sanders versus Fran Brown. And so since it's out there and since it's possible, I don't care what the NCAA says, we're playing this game. And that is the one that we've talked about is going to get the insane ratings because Deion's involved. They're the ones that started this thing. They're the ones that broke the mold. They're the ones that everyone is talking about, wanting to see right now. Is Colorado Syracuse the sexiest matchup? No, but this is going to be a spring game. It's not that important. The coaching aspect and the way that they would defy the NCAA would set records. So give me the one that everybody's talking about.
Okay, so you are going to go again here, TJ. We'll do a snake order. So we have Auburn versus FSU with Cole, and then TJ just gave us Syracuse versus Colorado. What's your second one?
I think I got to put Lane Kiffin in this thing. Like Lane Kiffin mic'd up or on the sideline has to be part of what we're doing for his opponent. Let's get somebody else that's fun. Oh, Lane Kiffin.
Don't do it.
Against, dude, I think there's somebody really, really obvious that I'm going to screw up here and not end up getting. Oh, man. Lane Kiffin and Bill Belichick.
Oh, no!
That has to be the matchup.
Oh,
I want Nick Saban calling the game, by the way. I don't know if I'm a TV exec, so yeah, I just did it. Yeah, I want Lane Kiffin and Bill Belichick. All of the hype around. I mean, you're pulling NFL viewers at that point, because it's the first time that Belichick's taking the field. I don't even know if we need to make the last 3 picks because I think I just ended. But Belichick and Kiffin. Oh my gosh, a pregame media oh yeah, that's it. I don't even have to explain it. But go ahead,
so Cole. You now have back-to-backs to round out your 3, and then TJ's got one.
Well, for starters, you cheated because you already had one written down. I got to pick one, so I feel like I still got my picks going. I was gonna have Alabama versus Bill Belichick because at least then I have history versus history. So what would have that been? But I'm going to go on that same pathway. Give me a guy that is unrelentlessly, unequivocally unafraid to be his most authentic self, and a dude that you just have to have a mic on and probably the dump button 5 seconds away, which would be great. South Carolina versus Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy versus Shane Beamer. That to me is a matchup to where I get Lenore Sellers playing against a completely unknown that is the Pokes. You throw the game out in Boone Pickens Stadium. We can go watch the game. We can go to Eskimo Joe's and get a couple of beers beforehand. It'll be a great environment. College game day is there. Doesn't that feel like where Pat McAfee would be thriving, having Mike Gundy in one ear and then Shane Beamer in the other ear? Then you were able to go ahead and see what this new defense looks like for the Gamecocks going into 2025. I think that is one of the more slept-on, underrated units in all of college football. And my final matchup, this is challenging, but I do feel like if I could get this on Big Ten, if I get this on Fox Sports and make him feel really uncomfortable simply because of, well, I worked for both of these schools and both of these schools have a lot to prove this year.
Oh, I know what you're doing now.
I want to go with Urban Meyer calling the game for Florida versus Utah. I want to see what Kyle Whittingham is going to be like with Devin Dampier now as his new starting quarterback, how this offense is going to be completely unique and dynamic in a year where they kept you for another season, and what's Billy Napier going to look like with this high-tempo offense? Because again, if this team can live up to expectations, well then at this point, at least I know that I have the right coach, and maybe again, Kyle Whittingham, who still is flying under the radar, a top 15 coach in the sport, regardless of what the record said last year in the Big 12. I think that there's a lot to like about what the direction of this team is. An honorable mention that I want to throw in: Houston versus Texas A&M. It's right up the road. Marcel Reed versus Connor Wheaton.
All right, we're running out of time here. We're going to pipe it out in the honorable mentions. TJ's got one more. All right, let's not give him ideas.
I wasn't taking that one. All right, we are. We're going. We're probably going as far geographically as realistically you could go. Maybe there's one or two more schools that you could do, but Mario Cristobal is going to take on his old team. There is so much Oregon hate that exists for Mario Cristobal in leaving Oregon. And there is so much like Miami, like bravado back to them, like we stole your guy. Like that is they don't show up to games, but Miami fans, I will credit, do show up on social media. And so, yeah, Miami versus Oregon at this point, you're talking about two programs that are still competing, like Miami with 10 wins last year, Oregon, obviously number one team in the country going to the playoff. This would be a ton of fun. Dan Lanning, big personality, Mario Cristobal, we know what his prowess is. So yeah, Oregon versus Miami would be a ton of fun.
These are some really good selections. And I loved especially that Cole thought of the networks and Urban Meyer, including that within one broadcast for Florida versus Utah. However, I have to give the edge to TJ because Ole Miss versus UNC, a curmudgeon-y old Bill Belichick being forced to be on television up against Lane Kiffin, who will do nothing but pick at him. I would love to see that. So TJ, you are the winner of my first ever wild card.
Cheats.
Dude, it took me a minute to get to Belichick because I knew that. I'll say this, it's my victory speech, but I had thought about them playing each other like in a bowl game or something like 4 months ago when he got hired, but I just couldn't remember that name right now while we're talking, and I thought I was going to lose it. Like I was going to end up going like Kenny Dillingham or something like that, and I would have ended up losing the game because you'd have had Belichick versus DeBoer. So yeah, thank the Lord that came to my mind.
Right. Hey, thanks for watching The Power 2. If you like this type of content, make sure you hit subscribe and check out some of our other videos found here on the channel. Bye.